Okay, mommy tell you story. What story you want?
I want me.
Okay. Which story you want? Got pig story, got princess story. Princess and? Princess and? Frog, okay. So princess and the frog, Lie down lah. This is sunshine. Lie down lah. Mommy want to tell you story. You want to sing? Okay lah, mommy tell you story. You want mommy sing or tell story? Sing or story?
Story.
Oh, okay. So, you sleep, huh? Long ago, there lived a king with several beautiful daughters. But the youngest was so beautiful that even the sun himself was enchanted when she came out to play in the sunshine. She would often go out into the garden by herself, and one afternoon she was dancing around on the grass, throwing her favorite golden ball out into the air and catching it again. The ball glinted in the sunshine, and the princess missed catching it. When for a moment the bright light blinded her eyes, she laughed as she ran down the slope chasing after it. Then she threw the golden ball high into the air and watched in horror as it fell into the well so deep that it seemed to take forever before she heard a faint plop as it hit the water at the bottom. So the ball dropped into the well, and the princess sat down, the princess sat down beside the well and wept. She cried louder and louder until she heard a voice call out, "Why are you crying, king daughter? Your tears will melt even a stone to pity." She looked around to the spot where the voice was coming from and saw the frog's ugly face staring at her. "When was it you who spoke? I am weeping for my golden ball which was fallen into this well, and I don't know how I will ever get it back." So the princess cried out, and the princess said she don't know how to get it back, the ball. And the frog said, "Do not cry," said the frog. "I can get it back for you, but what will you give me if I do?" "What would you like, dear frog? You can have my jewels, my purse, or my golden crown." So the princess asked the frog. And the frog replied, "I have no use for this thing," replied the frog. "How am I going to read? But if you will love me and let me play with you, sit at your table, eat from your plate, drink from your cup, and sleep in your bed, then I will gladly climb into the well and retrieve your golden ball." And the princess said, "Oh, I will promise you all these things, if only I can have my ball," she cried, thinking that she would never have to keep a promise she made to a frog. The frog dropped neatly into the deep well, picked up the golden ball in his mouth, and climbed all the way out. So the princess thanked him, took the ball and ran off as fast as she could back to the palace. "Stop! Wait for me!" the frog shouted. "I cannot keep up with you!" called the frog in his loudest voice. But she did not even hear him, and the princess ran back home. The princess soon forgot the frog and the promise she had made, and the frog hopped sadly back into the lake. Later that day, the king's daughter was sitting at the dining table with her father and his courtier when she heard a knock at the door. She went to open it, and there before her stood the frog. The princess turned very pale and quickly shut the door.
What's that?
Yeah, the princess opened the door and saw the frog. The frog bring a flower for princess. And the princess got a shock and quickly shut down the door. Shut the door. As she sat down to eat again, her father asked her if there was a giant at the door to frighten her so. So the king asked the princess, "Why are you so scared?" And the princess said, "No, father, it's not a giant, but an ugly frog." "And what does the frog want?" asked the king. The princess told her father the story of how she had lost her golden ball in the well and the promise she made to the frog. Then the king said, a promise made must be kept, so go and let him in. So reluctantly she went and opened the door, and the frog followed her back to her place. Pick me up, he said, and the king ordered her to obey. She placed the frog on her chair, and immediately he sprang up into the table and demanded, move your plate close to me, and we will eat together. Everyone at the table could see that she was very unwilling, but she did what she had promised. The frog released every mouthful, but the king's daughter fell sick and could not eat any more of her food. When she got down from the table, she lifted the frog onto the floor, and he followed her out into the garden to play. The little frog went everywhere with her, and when she thought she could escape from him, she ran as fast as she could back to the place. Remembering her promise that she would let the frog sleep in her bed, she ran straight upstairs to her bedroom and bolted the door. Just as the princess got into bed, she heard a faint knocking sound. Who's there? She called, her voice trembling. Please let me in, said the frog. You promised I could sleep in your bed, and your father said a promise made must be kept. The princess opened the door, and the frog hopped across the room and shambled up into the bed. The frightened girl curled up as far away from the frog as she could, but was unable to sleep all night. The next day, the little frog refused to leave the princess' side. He played with her, sat on her lap, and when she rode with her father in his carriage and ate from her plate at meal times. The poor girl was growing tired of this ugly little creature and feared she must never be rid of him. Will you never go away and leave me alone, you ugly little frog? She asked him cheerfully. First, you must kiss me, and then if you really want me to leave you, sweet princess, I will go. Kiss a frog? The poor girl thought she would rather die. But so desperate was she to be free of him that she took a deep breath, closed her eye, and offered him her lips to kiss. When she opened her eyes, she found that the frog has disappeared, and in his place stood a tall, handsome young prince. He told her how the wicked witch had transformed him, and that only a beautiful princess could set him free from the spell. She fell in love with him instantly, and then they ran back to the place to find her father. He gave his consent to their marriage, and the prince and princess lived happily in his kingdom for many years. The Three Little Pigs story. Are you going to listen? Wolf and the Three Pig Little story. Okay, let me tell you a story, okay? Once upon a time, there were three little pigs, and one fine summer day, they decided to go out into the big wide world on their own. As they walked along a forest path, they talked about what they would do. We will each need to find a plot and build ourselves a house to live in, said one little pig to his brother. They passed a man with a cart piled high with straw. The first little pig asked if he could have some straw to build himself a house. The man was glad to give him straw, and the little pig waved goodbye to the other two, built a house, and was very pleased with himself. Soon an old grey wolf came by, and when he saw the straw house, he stopped and looked through the window. Inside, he saw the little pig. So he went to the door, knocked gently, and said in his sweetest voice, little pig, can I come in?" And the little pig answered, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin cheek. Then I huff and I puff and I blow your house down," growled the wolf, and he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down and ate up the little pig. Meanwhile, the other little pig walked on until they met a man carrying a cartload of sticks. One of the little pigs said to the man, "Would you give me some of this stick to build a house?" The man was glad to give him the stick, so the little pig waved goodbye to his brother, built a house, and was very pleased with himself. Soon the old wolf came by, and when he saw the house built of stick, he stopped and looked through the window. Inside he saw the second little pig. So he went to the door, knocked gently, and said in his sweetest voice, little pig, can I come in?" And the little pig answered, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I will huff and I puff and I blow your house down," growled the wolf. And he huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down and ate up the second little pig. Now the third little pig was smarter than the other two. He saw a man with a cartload of bricks, and he thought, "This is just what I need." So he begged the man to let him have enough brick to build himself a house, and the man was happy to give him that. So the little pig built himself a fine brick house with a kitchen and fireplace. Along came the wolf, who knocked on the door and said, little pig, can I come in?" And the little pig answered, "No, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I will huff and I puff and I blow your house down," growled the wolf. And he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed, but no matter how hard he huffed and puffed, the wolf could not blow the house down. The little pig laughed as the wolf through the window. The wolf made a plan. "If I want to eat this pig," he said to himself, "then I will have to trick him." So he called, little pig, I know where there is a lovely field of turnips." "Where is it?" asked the little pig. "Behind Farmer Smith's house," replied the wolf. "And if you are ready at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, I will call for you and we can go together." "Very well, I will be ready," said the little pig. But the little pig got up at 5 o'clock, ran to the Farmer Smith's field, filled a sack of turnips, and was safely back to his house when the wolf called for him at 6. "Are you ready, little pig?" called the wolf. "Ha ha," laughed the pig. "I thought you said to be ready at 5. "I have already been the turnips field, and now I am making a stew for my dinner."